Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. So after I posted my Get to Know Me video last week or the week before, I got a lot of requests and comments about sharing more about how I lost 40 pounds and talk to you a little bit more about my weight loss journey. So I thought I'd do this video. I love sharing my story with other people when it comes to how to lose weight or fitness and nutrition. I first want to say I'm not a nutritionist. I'm not a personal trainer. I've never had any formal education on either of those subjects. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be the expert on it, but I have been, I feel like I have a lot of personal experience to help people. Kind of to give you a little bit of background on me. So I've really been into fitness and nutrition for about 12 or 13 years, and it all started, and I had no interest in it before that. I wasn't someone that grew up in a really healthy household. I didn't know a lot about, nutritional eating or exercising or working out. I mean, most of us didn't. When you're in junior high school, that's not really something that you concern yourself with, or at least I feel like you really shouldn't be so concerned with that. Of course, healthy eating is healthy eating, and I'm not going to promote an unhealthy way, but I feel like when you're in junior high and high school, you should not be worried about the way your body looks, or I don't know, I just feel like that's not something you should concern yourself with. I didn't, and so when I got to my last year of high school, my first year of college, I gained a lot of weight. I gained probably 30 or 35 pounds within a year and a half or so. It's kind of fuzzy to me, but it basically, I didn't grow up overweight, but I did gain a lot of weight around the age of 18 or 19 years old. And there was a lot of things that contribute to it. Like I said, I didn't know anything about healthy eating. I didn't know about exercising or how to exercise. I had never done it before. And I never really had to, because my metabolism was, I was young and I didn't really have to watch what I ate, really. But I started eating a lot of fast food after I left home, and the weight just kind of started to come in on a lot of fast food at like 3 a.m. because I was out with friends and all of that. And it was just a very unhealthy lifestyle. And I got to a point where I was just really I was grossed out with myself, just the way that I felt. I just felt really gross. I was always tired. I never had energy. It wasn't the way that I wanted to live the rest of my life. And so I decided to do something about it. And I joined an all-women's gym. It's called Premier Lady Fitness. It's here in Austin. And because it was a very non-intimidating atmosphere for me, and I wanted to be in a place where I was comfortable. It was already very foreign for me to go to a gym, and I didn't know what I was doing really. And so I didn't want to be self-conscious or surrounded by in a place where I didn't feel comfortable. So I went to this gym, and I didn't really get any guidance. I didn't hire a trainer. I just started exercising. I would go in and I would exercise for 30 minutes to an hour, 5 or 6 days a week. So I was, putting in the work for sure. I would basically get on a treadmill or an elliptical and just do cardio. I wasn't doing a lot of weights to begin with. And to be honest, I thought it was just going to come off quickly. I mean, here I was never having worked out before, and all of a sudden working out 5 or 6 days a week. I thought for sure the weight would come off, and it really didn't. I spent about 3 months doing that, and I think I lost 5 pounds maybe. It was so discouraging. I was becoming very discouraged, and I was ready to give up, quite honestly. But there was a woman at the gym that I had been watching that whole time that I was there, and I'd seen her lose a lot of weight. And so I approached her in the ladies' locker room. I said, excuse me, can you tell me what you're doing here? I am coming here working so hard and nothing is really happening for me, and I need to know what I'm doing wrong. And I will never forget this lady. This lady will always hold a very special place in my heart, because I really believe that she changed my life. I mean, she put me on a path that really changed my life. She invited me over to her house. She was very welcoming and very open to share with me what she was doing. She invited me to her house. She told me everything that she was doing. She walked me through her kitchen and her pantry and her refrigerator and what she was eating. And she gave me the tools I needed to learn how to lose weight. And I'll tell you more about exactly what she told me in just a second. But before I get there, I want to talk a little bit about weight loss. And the thing I love about fitness and nutrition, that it is very simple. It's pretty simple. If you burn more calories than you consume, that's how you lose weight. Now, that's a very simple concept. I realize that it's hard work and it's not easy, right? I understand that. I understand that there are people out there that are working hard and trying and it's struggling. So for me to sit here and say it's easy, I know there's more to it, but I really believe that weight loss is a very mental thing. I feel like you have to change your mind and you have to change your belief in what you're capable of in here before you have the strength and the dedication and the determination and the commitment that it takes to be consistent with exercising. Because it doesn't happen overnight. And initially, you'll start and, you work out a couple of days and maybe you don't lose a pound those first few days and you feel like, oh, what's the point of this? You really have to see the bigger picture and you have to know that over time, your actions will make a difference. Now, when I say that, you basically consume less you consume less than you burn. That's simple and that's true. So I think that honestly, you can lose weight without stepping foot in a gym. If you change your diet and you cut back in your calories and you're eating the right foods at the right times and all of that, you will lose weight without stepping in the gym. The gym is going to maximize your efforts for sure, and the gym is going to help you build muscle, which muscle is going to help you burn more calories. The more muscle that you have, the more calories that you're burning. So I believe that they go hand in hand, but it's like this. It's like you could lose weight without stepping foot in the gym and just watching what you eat. I get so confused. So if you can lose weight without stepping foot in the gym. Okay, so if you basically cut back your diet so that you are consuming less calories, you will lose weight. But on the other side of that, you can work out every single day. But if you increase your calories and you're not watching what you eat and you're eating the wrong things, you might not lose any weight. Okay, so that's really important to understand that. Now, I feel like there are good ways to lose weight and bad ways to lose weight. And I will be honest, I feel like the way that I learned to lose weight is not, I wouldn't say it's great and I wouldn't say it's bad. It was a great way for me to learn. So basically, the things that she taught me that really stuck with me is calorie counting. She basically told me, that she counts her calories. She talked to me about how her daily calorie is, or her budget. And she budgets herself a certain amount of calories every day. So every time she eats, she takes it off of her budget. So I started logging everything that I ate. She showed me the specific foods that she was eating, and she was eating a lot of sugar-free, a lot of fat-free foods. Now, after having been, in this journey for 12 years and learning more, I don't really promote those types of foods, just for a lot of chemical makeup, and they're really processed, and I don't feel like they're great for your body. I don't feel like our bodies were meant to process all that stuff. But at the time, it really did help me lose weight. So I was eating often. I was eating about 5 or 6 times a day. And I was just breaking those into mini meals. So I was very conscious about planning my meals, about having healthy snacks on hand. When with her, I wasn't concerned with, she didn't really talk to me about, low carb or no carb or any of that stuff. But I was making sure that I was just more counting calories. Honestly, when I went through that journey with her, it was really all about calorie content. So everything I read the label, I measured my food out, and I wrote down every single thing I ate. So if I had, a quarter cup of strawberries in the morning with a piece of toast and, a half a cup of cottage cheese, I wrote down the strawberries. I just Googled, how many calories do strawberries have? I wrote down the calories in that slice of bread that I had. If I added butter or jelly to that, I wrote down the calories for that. And I wrote down, what the calories had in my cottage cheese, or yogurt or whatever I had. So I really counted the calories down to, as close as I could. And when I started doing that, another 3.5 months passed and I lost about 30 pounds. It just started coming off like that. It was, to be honest, it was addicting. And that was kind of the start to my weight loss. And really that's when I fell in love with working out and paying attention to what I was eating and taking an interest in it, because I saw how much it affected my body and my life. When I lost the weight, I was just, there's a lot of pride that comes with that. I mean, that's not an easy thing to do. And once you do something like that, you're getting a lot of compliments and you're getting a lot of recognition from people. And that feels great. That feels really good. I was drinking a lot of water. Water was a huge thing to me. And that's when I started implementing weightlifting too. So she talked to me too about lifting weights and resistance training, and not just working out on a treadmill or an elliptical, because there really are two parts to working out. You know, cardio is great and it's a great kind of instant way to burn calories. However, lifting weights and resistance training is great because you're building muscle in the process. And remember what I said, the more muscle that you have, the more calories that you burn when you're at rest. So we all burn a certain amount of calories every day, okay? When I'm just sitting here talking, I'm burning calories. If I'm someone that has a body that's made up of more muscle, I'm going to be burning more calories than someone that's sitting next to me that has a higher body fat percentage. So when you're lifting weights, you're not going to, maybe you don't get the burn or the high calorie burn that you get when you run 3 miles, but the longer term effect of that is going to help you burn more calories. So that's why I feel like it's important to do both. If you only have 30 or 45 minutes or an hour in the gym, maximize that time. Be smart with that time. Use that. If you've gone through the trouble of getting yourself there, which I think is the hardest part to do, you know, really make the most of the time that you're there. And I think sometimes that can be hard too. But that's pretty much how I lost the weight. As I kind of continued on my journey of weight loss, I feel like there's more insight that I have to share about that. I'll be very honest with you. I didn't really plan this video out because I wanted to be very honest. I didn't want to censor myself too much or have time to really think about what I was going to say. But, you know, I'm going to be very honest. So over these years, I wish I could say that I lost the weight and it was super easy and then I haven't worried about it since. That's not the case. It became a struggle, physically and mentally. You know, when I first lost the weight, it felt great. You know, people were saying, oh my God, you look amazing. You look great. Oh my God, have you seen Lisa? She lost all this weight, da, da, da. And that built me up a lot of confidence. And at that time in my life, I didn't really have that. So it felt really, it was very empowering. Now, you know, after I lost the weight, you know, you can't keep losing weight. You get to a point where you're at your happy place and you really shouldn't lose any more weight. Or maybe your body can. And that's kind of where I reached. And, you know, over time that recognition from people stopped coming because, you know, this is who I was now. And time had passed and people didn't really, you know, see me every time and say, oh, Lisa, you lost weight. You look great. You know, it was done. And for me, weight loss kind of got a little addicting. And that's kind of, I guess, when I should have noticed my first red flag with it, but I didn't. You know, I just was so concerned with it. It was a big part of who I was, and it just became a little obsessive with me. And then a few years passed, and I was still continuing on with that methodology of diet, you know, about just sugar-free, low-fat. You know, I drank diet sodas all the time. Everything I got was sugar-free. I wasn't really a clean eater. If you've ever heard that expression, that's an expression I use a lot now. And to me, you know, this clean eating is something I picked up later on in my journey. And I try and kind of live my life more on that way of, you know, losing weight, keeping it off is more of a clean diet. And what that really means is that you're eating foods in their most natural state is pretty much what that means. You know, you're not eating a lot of processed food. You're not eating a lot of food that has a lot of chemicals. Now I look at some of the things I used to eat and to me, I think it's toxic. I think it's like poison for my body. Now I'm not sitting here saying I never have a diet soda or I don't use Splenda or I don't, you know, have sugar-free this or I do. I don't have it in my house. I don't buy it at the grocery store. If I'm out somewhere and it's offered to me, sure, I'll have it. So I'm not that extreme, but I do believe that all of that stuff just builds up in our systems, and I feel like that's what causes a lot of sickness, and it's just not healthy for you. So and that kind of came later on. So a few years went by and I was still Miss Calorie Counter, Miss writing down everything I ate. And I'm kind of joking about it, but I actually think that's a really great tool. If you're someone that, for me, it was really helpful to write down every single thing that I ate. And I had a daily agenda and I still do. I don't write everything down today, but I would write down every day. Every time I had a meal, I would write it down so I could really take account of my calories. And it was something that I felt proud of at the end of the day. If I stuck to my plan and I didn't exceed my calorie budget, felt really great. I felt like that was a great day. Gave me a sense of kind of control. I felt like I was controlling things. And so that was nice. But then around the age of, how old was I? Maybe 25 or 26, I really got into working out and I decided to enter a fitness competition and I hired a trainer and she helped me with my diet and my exercise. And that's kind of when my mindset really changed a lot from the way that I was doing it to the way that I started. And so her way of eating was more clean. It was eating very healthy, very natural foods. I ate a lot of oats, fruit, rice cakes, peanut butter, flank steak, chicken, green beans, asparagus. It was very simple, very basic. And it was the right amount of food in each serving. It was the right amount of carbs, the right amount of protein in each meal. So it was very, there was a lot of thought that went into each meal that I was eating. And it was, again, 5 or 6 times a day. So I think that is my biggest piece of advice to people that are asking how to lose weight. Watch how many calories you eat a day and eat often. You want to make sure that you're eating every 3 to 4 hours. If you're not used to eating that way, then that's going to be hard at first. You're going to feel like, I'm not hungry. Why should I eat? Trust me, you need to do it. Because what happens is if you go too long between eating, what happens is your body stops burning calories. Your metabolism slows down. And so when you do eat, your body is not going to burn those calories as quickly as they would if you feed it often, because your body is thinking, wow, we haven't eaten in 6 or 7 hours. We're going to hold onto all of this and store all of this as fat because we need this as reserves. So you want to make sure that you're feeding your body often, so you're telling your body, burn, burn, burn. You're going to get more in a couple hours. So that's very, very important. Anyone that loses weight and keeps it off, I believe, has to have that type of diet schedule, really. I feel like I'm rambling about this. It's just one of those topics that I get started on, and maybe I should have thought this video out. Maybe I should have done that. But anyway, so the last couple of years, I have been very different approach to it than I did when I first started. Just eating cleaner, just trying to eat more nutritious. This is another thing I found. Yes, it comes down to calorie intake, but you are going to be more, it's going to be easier for you in the sense that you're not going to feel hungry and deprived if you are eating the right foods. And when you're eating foods that are clean and nutritious and are rich in protein and fiber and all of that, you are going to you're not going to feel like you're dieting. You're not going to feel hungry. Because if you look at, 100 calories of a piece of chicken, and you look at 100 calories of, a little sugar-free fiber 1 bar, right, this big, and you compare the two, if you eat that 100 calories of chicken, you're going to feel satisfied for much longer than if you eat that little thing of, that little sugar-free snack bar. Trust me. And another thing I found is that when you eat food like that, it triggers, well, I'm saying I found this as if I'm some scientist and I did research and found this, and then we know that's not true. But for me, at least, when I eat that stuff, it triggers something in my brain. It's like sugar. It's addictive. And when I eat one of those, I just want to eat another one. And then I want to eat another one. And it's just, and then, maybe it's sugar-free, fat-free, and it's only 80 calories. But if you eat 5 or 6 of them, then it kind of defeats the purpose, So if you can look at food in a completely different way, and this is how I started looking at it later. If you can look at food as fuel for your body and not just not just something that you're eating when you're distracted, your whole approach to nutrition is going to change, and it's going to be, for me at least, mentally, it became much easier. And the first couple weeks are going to be the hardest. The first couple weeks of changing your diet and eating different foods and cutting out the stuff that maybe you love that isn't the best for you, that's going to be hard. But I promise you, if you can get through those first 2 or 3 weeks, you will crave it less and less and less. And then you'll reach a point where you don't even really want it. I still believe in treating myself. And if I want something, I'm going to have it. But I find that I want it less and less because I just, it's not in my system and my body's not craving it or feeling like it needs it. So I really promote, eating frequently, eating a diet high in protein, because that's going to keep you satisfied longer and that's going to help support muscle growth. Drinking a lot of water. If you're not drinking water regularly, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You must drink a lot of water. That's going to help detox your body. Sometimes those last few pounds are the hardest to lose, and it's typically water weight. It's typically excess water weight. And I can tell you this from experience, the more processed foods that you have, the more sugar-free, diet sodas, all that stuff, the more water weight you're carrying around. I guarantee you, if you just cut those out and drink lemon water or just plain water, you'll start shedding a couple of pounds, because what all of those foods have in it are toxins, like I talked about, and our body's defense to having toxins in our body is to surround it with fluid and protect the body from it. So if you have a lot of that in your system, then you're carrying around excess water weight. I guarantee you it. So cut that out and those excess pounds will come off. I'm probably going to edit this out, but I'm just going to put it in here in case I decide to add it. A story that I have with that. So when I was competing and doing this fitness competition, I'll be honest, a fitness competition, that sounds like a really healthy thing. It was really actually unhealthy for me. And I'm not saying this about all fitness competitors, trust me, because everyone has their own. For me, I couldn't handle it. I became obsessed. I already told you that I felt like I was addicted to losing weight when I first started. So when I came into a competition where I was judged on my body and the way I looked, and I was surrounded by people that had perfect physiques, you can already tell that was not the best environment for me to put myself in. But anyway, in that environment, I wanted my body to look absolutely perfect. And I was never satisfied with the way I looked. Even when I looked even when I look back at pictures, I will probably never look like that again. It took a lot of work for me to get to that point. And I'll be honest, I don't think I'm ever going to be in a place where I'm willing to put in that much work to look like that again. I was very, very selfish. And that's not a bad thing. At the time I didn't have children. My husband was really busy. I could be selfish. And I'm not saying that if you are into that you're selfish and you're bad. Don't get me wrong, that's not what I'm saying at all. But now I have kids and I have a family to manage and a house to maintain, and I am not my priority anymore. I'm just not. I have my priority is my family and my children, and so I can't put in the energy that I did for that at this stage in my life. But anyway, I'm getting way off topic. So one thing that I was doing, because I was working out so much and I was eating a pretty restrictive diet and I was eating the exact same foods every single day for 6 weeks or more, it got really boring. And so I was chewing a lot of sugar-free gum, because that was my sweet treat. Honestly, that was kind of what I looked forward to, was a piece of gum. Isn't that sad? God, that's so sad when I say it. But I was eating a lot of sugar-free gum, and the closer I got to my competition, the more depleting I was to my body. And I got to the point where I was eating about a pack and a half of gum a day. Can you believe that? A pack and a half of gum a day. And I was adding Crystal Light to my water bottles because I was looking for some variety. I was tired of just drinking water all day. And I will never forget this. One day, it was about a week before my competition, week and a half or so. One day I was at my office and I was planning to meet my trainer. I was planning to run with some people in my office after work and then go meet my trainer for a workout. And I was sitting at my desk and I was working, and I just had this like pounding headache, and I felt really dizzy, and my skin felt like it was crawling. Like I felt like things were crawling on my skin. It was the most bizarre episode ever. I felt like I was on drugs. I've never been on drugs like that before, ever, but I felt like completely out of control of my body. I didn't know what was happening. I felt so weird. And I went and drove to meet my coworkers to go running. And I was a big runner at the time. I would run 6 miles, 4 or 5 times a week, but I could not run. I was starting to run and I just felt like I was going to faint. I was not myself. And so I got in my car and I called my husband, and I really felt like I couldn't even drive up to meet my trainer. I felt like I was drunk or something. It was so weird. I felt like it was not safe for me to drive or get on the highway. And I remember telling my husband that. And I remember telling my husband, and I said, this sounds completely bizarre and weird, but I have whatever is going on with me, I feel like it's associated with my gum, because whenever I chew a new piece of gum, I can feel that feeling intensify. Everything that I'm feeling gets a little bit stronger. Isn't that weird? And he was like, that's crazy. That's completely weird. Like, that doesn't make any sense. But I did drive. I met my trainer and I got there and I was so bloated. I literally had woken up that morning and I was like 6 or 7 pounds heavier than I was the day before. And I wasn't eating bad food. Remember, I was eating very bland food. So there was no explanation for that water weight gain. At the time, I didn't understand that it was associated to all the aspartame that I was consuming from the Crystal Light and the sugar-free gum. But I got to meet my trainer and she's like, what happened to you? You look like you ate a freaking box of pizza by yourself. And I was like, nothing. I swear I'm sticking to my diet. I don't know what it is. And she's like, are you drinking enough water? And I said, yes, I'm drinking a lot of water. In fact, I'm adding Crystal Light to my water, so I drink even more. And she stopped me right there. And she's like, you're adding Crystal Light to it? What? And I said, yeah. And she's like, how much gum are you chewing? And I told her, and she's like, okay, girl, you've got too much aspartame in your system, and your body is so toxic right now that it's just holding on to all your water weight is what it's happening. I went home that night and I contemplated going to the hospital because I felt so bad, and it was scary. It really freaked me out because I had never felt like that in my life before. I felt like there was someone on my head just pressing on it. I was laying in bed and my husband was Googling on the internet, what is aspartame poisoning? Google aspartame poisoning and you'll read about it. But it was very terrifying. So immediately, obviously, I cut out the gum and the aspartame, and I just started drinking water with lemon, and I just started drinking water with lemon. I stuck to what I was eating, water with lemon, and that the next morning was on a Thursday. From Thursday to Sunday, I dropped like 9 or 10 pounds of just water weight. It was bizarre. So that was my first real awakening to what all that toxins and crap does to your body. So again, I'm not saying I never have a diet soda, a little bit in moderation, but if that's not a true testament to what it does to your body, what happens when that's in your system, then, you know, I don't know what is. But anyway, I'm just going on and on and on in this video. I'm obviously very passionate about this subject. I love to help people that have a desire to get healthier because it's not just about being a size, or it's not just about looking a certain way. You know, I feel like when you exercise daily and you eat healthy, you have more energy. I just feel like you're a happier, healthier person. I think my daughter's coming in here. I'm going to have to go in a second. My husband's down there, but I'm going to go help him out in a second. But anyway, that's my story with weight loss. And, you know, I'm sure I'll do an updated video to this that's maybe a little more organized and not such a big ramble. If you have specific questions about it, leave them in the comment section. I would love to share any insight or answers I can give to you. And share this video with someone that you know that is, you know, wanting to start that journey. I will probably do some more talks about it as my videos, in future videos. If you have requests specifically, then leave those. I would love to, you know, to update this at some point. But I think I just want to leave it at this. You know, over the last 12 years, I have been really into fitness and nutrition, and sometimes my motivations have been I wanted to look a certain way, I wanted to be a certain size, but what I have found is that you have to embrace your natural body and what's a healthy body weight and body shape for you. I will never be, you know, a size 0 in a straight thin rail. I won't be. I've got hips and I've got a butt, and that's just how I'm built, and I know what my happy healthy weight is. I know where my body is happiest at. And for me to get to anything else is going to not be attainable and not be maintainable. Maybe I can get there by starving myself and working out all the time, but I can't do that for the rest of my life, and it's not healthy. And you just have to embrace your body. You have to embrace who you are and just want to be your healthiest. Everything in moderation. Treat yourself when you want it, but overall try and make the right choices. You know, I feel like 85-15 is a good rule, you know. I feel like if you're doing that, you're going to have less cravings. You're going to not binge, which is something else I did when I was really restrictive. When I was, the picture that I'll show in a second here, where I was like, you know, 105 pounds and like 12 or 13% body fat, and in Oxygen magazine, I was actually pretty unhealthy. I was exerting myself, working out too much. I was binge eating in shame sometimes. So yeah, here I am looking like the epitome of health and wellness, and that was probably when I was the most unhappy with my body, believe it or not. And so I feel like as I've gotten older and I've become a mother, I've really learned that it's just embracing who you are and loving yourself for who you are, and, you know, finding beauty in the things about you that, you know, make you you. So anyway, I'll go on and on about that, but I'm going to go check on my girls, and I hope you guys have a great week, and ask me questions that you have. Share this video with anyone that you know. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate your support. Bye.